Make a new name for yourself. Look at what has happened to Michael Perry. You know, one of our big stars here, the king of violence. He titles himself, and you know he's had such a rise in the sport. Now he's up against you know, a little dweeb of a thing in a fight this weekend that we're all rooting for him.
Don't aspire to be, you know, one of these like YouTuber fighters.
Right.
Aspire for world titles. Aspire for Olympic.
That's him now. He's super jacked.
He looks like a bodybuilder.
See, that's what he looks like now. He's still jacked. Still looks great. He looks good though.
Whoa. He looks so old now.
He looks different.
On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe Rogan analyzed the buzzworthy potential fight between Conor McGregor and Jake Paul. Known for his candid insights and MMA expertise, Rogan discussed each fighter's strengths and weaknesses, offering his perspective on how this high-profile matchup might unfold.
And like, there's something about like calling somebody out, which you immediately respect them a little bit more, like willing to put yourself out there for a fight.
He called out Conor McGregor too.
That's what Jake's doing.
Yeah.
That kid is a master troll, dude. He's a master creating hype. Like, dude, if I'm Dana White, I'm praying that this guy can actually.
A Jake Paul Amanda Nunes boxing match.
That's because Dana said maybe I'll let Amanda Nunes knock him out.
Now I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. Nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future.
Joe Rogan recently discussed Conor McGregor's career decline on the Joe Rogan Experience, attributing it to self-destructive behavior fueled by money and fame. Rogan argued that McGregor's success led to tendencies that ultimately harmed his fighting career, sparking widespread conversation about how the pressures of celebrity and fortune can derail even the most talented athlete.
Conor's ever gonna fight again?
What's happening with his the civil suit? He's being dropped by all his companies or something?
Yeah, you know, I don't know the real details of that case, but the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard.
Dude, some of his interviews, you can tell he is out of it. Have you seen the Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor interview for Roadhouse? And he's just tweaking the whole time? And tweaking? Jake's just like...
You know, it's funny, Shane Gillis has a great bit about Conor McGregor and Roadhouse. He goes, Conor McGregor basically played a c***ed out Conor McGregor in Roadhouse.
To grasp the magnitude of Joe Rogan's critique, it's essential to reflect on Conor McGregor's meteoric rise in the UFC. From the moment McGregor entered the octagon, he was a force to be reckoned with. His brash personality and charismatic self-promotion quickly made him a fan favorite, but it was his electrifying performances that cemented his legacy in MMA history.
Most important fight of your career. Give us your thoughts on this rematch. He should have killed me when he had the chance, because now I'm back and I'm going to kill you and your whole f***ing team. You and their kids. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. That's what I dreamed into reality.
I'm your father. I'm your daddy, yeah? Call me Jose Senior. Tell him I'm his daddy. Tell him I'm his daddy.
I really don't care. Like, he can talk whatever he wants, and I'll continue to be the champion.
He said, tell him he's his daddy.
Tell him I said I am his daddy.
Ele tá falando que ele é seu pai.
Nunca vai ser.
Sit on my lap.
Nunca vai ser. Tá mais fácil.
Sit on my lap.
Eu domino.
Sit on my lap.
What I'm saying is this. When you knock a champion who's been that dominant and that good for 10 years out in 14 seconds, 13. There is a question, which is, was that in some ways a fluke?
One of the most iconic moments of McGregor's career occurred in 2015 when he stunned the world by knocking out the legendary Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds to claim the UFC featherweight championship.
There's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
Yeah. Did you see the videos afterwards when Dagestan where they're shooting off the Uzis and AK-47?
A woman who accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago, has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
McGregor has been on a recovery journey, hinting at a comeback while pursuing ventures beyond the octagon. His 2017 boxing bout with Floyd Mayweather, though a loss, showcased his immense pay-per-view appeal, cementing his status.
UFC fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA basketball game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining the allegations was sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News. It says the alleged assault took place in a bathroom at an arena in Miami. The woman's lawyer said she'd been watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday the 9th of June before the alleged incident happened. She alleged the woman was forced into a men's bathroom by security guards from the NBA and Miami Heat before being violently assaulted by Mr. McGregor. A lawyer representing Mr. McGregor said, "The allegations are false. Mr. McGregor will not be intimidated." Both the City of Miami Police and the Miami Heat, which hosted the NBA Finals game, say that they are conducting investigations.
Chandler, you said good match for Conor. Is that ever happening? Or
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
what's happening with his he just got like the civil suit or whatever, and he's being dropped by all his companies or something.
Yeah. You know, I don't know the real details of that case. I know his version of it and her version of it and what played out in the court. But the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. And he talked about it in the court case. You know, he's talking about cocaine. Like that was the whole thing, that we're all doing cocaine and we're fans.
As a global star and highlighting his enduring influence in the world of sports entertainment. Jake Paul embodies a modern era of combat sports entertainment. Rising to fame as a YouTube content creator, he transitioned into professional boxing.
How much money could you reasonably walk out of this fight with?
350 million.
$350 million.
Yes.
Floyd's not ready for this. Much respect to Floyd, he's a solid businessman. What he has been able to do, he is a full animal at what he has been able to do. But as far as real fighting, as far as true, pure, unarmed combat, Floyd don't want none of this. I think he does not want none of this. People won't even ask him. He wants it under boxing rules. He wants a boxing match. He doesn't want to fight. So I want to respect everyone in here. I love everyone is. Give Floyd a showtime, I'm coming.
Building a unique career by facing celebrities, athletes, and former MMA fighters. Paul's unconventional approach has redefined pathways to success in the world of sports and entertainment. His bold personality, marketing savvy, and growing...
You know, I think he's like any other young up-and-coming boxer. It's just everybody dismisses him because he's a YouTuber.
For sure. It's easy to dismiss him, but I was there when he knocked out Tyron, and I was like, man, I'm done with this kid. I never wanted to corner another fight in my life, man. I was like, yo, he just knocked my boy flat out on his face, man. I was heartbroken.
Bro, he has power.
His boxing skills have earned him notable wins, including victories over former UFC fighters Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva. Since 2020, Paul has openly sought a fight with McGregor.
Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul if he wasn't this YouTube guy. He was just a boxer. And you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever. Knock him out with one punch like that. You're like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's for real. Because nothing about watching him fight screams like he's in over his head. If it wasn't that big YouTube star, you'd be like, that dude's got dynamite in his hand.
It is, but I see a lot of people talking funny stuff about, like, the leg kick didn't knock him out. What happened, like his leg or whatever, but when he went after that leg kick, he kind of reached down to grab the foot and threw an uppercut. And I was switch stance, so I threw a cross from my backhand that clipped him good. And that's when he took the step back and was hurt. I think that's a detail people are missing, that right hand.
Well, you certainly, you landed a lot of solid shots in that fight, but there's no doubt that leg kick was fucking that right leg up.
For sure.
Let me show y'all proof that Conor McGregor did, in fact, injure the leg that he broke in the third Dustin Poirier fight 3 years ago, just weeks before their bout. right here drilling kicks over and over again. It was already taped up before that, and everyone was like, oh, he heard it off of a Dustin Poirier check. Y'all don't know shit about MMA. He even posted about this after the fight.
Using social media to mock his losses and lure him with multi-million-dollar offers. Initially dismissed as publicity stunts, Paul's rising boxing profile has made his challenges increasingly credible, drawing attention to his bold pursuit.
What I really want is Conor. I'll put the nail in his casket.
Ideally, if you could have it your way, is it Nate, Tommy, Conor? Is KSI anywhere in that equation
Well,
anymore?
if KSI fights Tommy, he's gonna get knocked out.
Yep.
I guess it's all kind of in the air. Time will tell.
Jake Paul made the call-out video. He disrespected Conor McGregor. Here's the mistake that everybody's making about Jake Paul. Because I put this on my Twitter account. I said Jake Paul's going to finish Askren in 30 seconds. And everyone's like, whoa, Askren's a fighter, blah, blah, this crap. I knew Jake Paul would smoke him because Jake Paul is the person I used to be. He's a cocky, arrogant young man who's training his ass off. You think Jake Paul isn't training? They're like, oh, he's just a YouTuber. He's training with Canelo and Ryan Garcia. The guy is training his ass off. He's not running his mouth to people without training. He's getting in there.
Hey, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but I know you probably signed NDA, but blink twice if that Jake Paul fight was set up.
Blink twice.
I know you probably
I
can't
don't
say
never
that.
blink because I got these little bitty eyes. I don't need much air, you know what I mean, to keep them open. A lot of people wonder that, but think about this. If I say Rampage pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you gonna do? You're gonna feel disrespected, number one.
Yeah.
Right? That ain't enough money.
Yeah.
But I got paid in the Jake fights. For me to do that, I gotta be willing to walk away for good, and they gotta set me up for a while, at least not for life, but something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade, because that's what you would have to do. Would I do something like that? You would have to know me to know I'm too solid of a guy to even have somebody walk to me and ask me.
Yeah.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those.
For me, just as a spectator, as a media guy, as a fan as well, like to see his UFC run end at the Apex with no one there, with no fanfare, with no video package, with no honoring, with no Hall of Fame, with no nothing, put me down. It made me feel very sad. I'm wondering, as someone who looked up to him, how you felt about that.
Yeah, I don't get why you're not in the Hall of Fame.
I mean,
I agree, by the way.
already talked to you about that. That's not important for me because.
But it's important for everyone
Yeah,
around
but like,
you.
but there's guys who retired years and years after you that got put in there,
Yeah,
and you're more legendary.